With Dunkin' Go-Tos, you can get a great deal on two of your favorites, like 2 egg and cheese wraps for $2, 2 bagels with cream cheese spread for $4, and 2 bacon, egg, and cheese croissants for $5. In my opinion, it's a deal that's pretty tough to beat. That's just if you want my go-to cents. If you don't want my go-to cents, it's go too late. Dunkin' Go-Tos, a great deal for $2, $4, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.
What's the focus? Pop culture, movies, and TV news. What's the focus? What's the focus?
Hello and welcome. This is WTF, What's the Focus podcast. I am your host, Ryan Kerrigan, coming to you live from the mothership, which is my Kia Sportage. I am on the move, but wanted to record a little something just to get people excited about this podcast. This is a very special episode for us, episode 4. For the first time ever on WTF, we have a special guest today, Matt Kerrigan, my cousin, actually coming on to give a little bit of insight, maybe some theories and predictions of what is to come in this week's Avengers Endgame. I cannot believe this movie is finally here. I am just so excited to the point where I am avoiding all social media for the time being to avoid any type of spoilers. I don't want to know anything going into this movie, but for this episode, we are going to give our last thoughts and predictions, like I said, which is going to be coming to you right after these messages.
WTF What's the Focus podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Okay, let's just jump right into it. Thank you again for being here. My name is Ryan Kerrigan, and today we have a special guest, my cousin Matt Kerrigan, who I'm going to be getting on here just in a little bit, and we are going to be going over predictions and our last thoughts for Avengers Endgame before the showing, which is this week, starting on the 25th and 26th. It's unbelievable that this movie is finally here. We are so excited to talk about it. We are giving away zero spoilers, but again, these are all predictions and all for fun until we actually see the movie. Again, thank you for joining us, and we are going to get underway. First thing we're going to talk about is Doctor Strange. We spoke off camera
About just some of the things that he said towards the end of his dusting to Tony Stark, and I'm personally thinking that it's going to be a large majority of what the movie is going to be about, which of course is it's going to be about time travel. But we just don't know how much time travel is going to be with what he did with the stone, possibly sending the stone into the future, or if it's going to be based more around the quantum realm or a healthy mixture of both. What do you think?
Definitely time travel, definitely quantum realm. The thing I'm most interested in is that we didn't get the conversation of Doctor Strange and Tony previous to the fight with Thanos. So we don't know if they actually had a conversation, because Tony seemed pretty surprised even when he gave up the stone, asking, why did he do that? If they had had a previous conversation before that, it would have been like, okay, well, that was unfortunate, but I guess this is how it has to go. So I don't know if Doctor Strange knows and just didn't tell anybody, which would be kind of surprising in that realm. Like I said, Tony looked pretty shocked by the outcome of that battle. But I guess it's more along the lines of hope. I don't think you're going to get a lot of time stone itself. I think it's going to be more quantum realmy time travel than anything.
Now, in the scene though that I'm talking about, where all of a sudden he brings the time stone back, do you think that he transported that into the future, or at some point that's going to come back into this movie to where that's going to be used or somehow beneficial to like the Avengers trying to bring back their crew? Like, do you think that had any significance, or was that just him kind of hiding it, like Loki hid the Tesseract in the beginning, kind of just like a mystical, like hidden trick?
I'm probably leaning with the trick. I mean, the only way I could see it benefiting if he sent it anywhere, because you're gonna get what's her character, Tilda Swinton's character in his movie, the Chosen One, the old one.
Yeah, so she's gonna be the chosen one.
She's in it, so
yes,
and she's the only one that knows how to do those sort of things. So I mean, that's the only real tie I could see of why he would send it anywhere. Because if they're having to time travel back to, say, like the Battle of New York, and they have to go to the Santorum, and have a conversation with her, she'd be like, "Oh, I already know. I got a phone call from him earlier. It's no big deal. Here's a stone."
just as easy as that. Just to pick up your phone, just give it a ring.
Oh no, like selfless existence in this universe. This is not a thing.
No telepathic messages. Just pick up your phone call. Old Nokia. Okay. What about time loop theory? Do you think anything was done within the time loop?
As in, like, he set a time loop so they could keep going back into the same.
Yeah, well, you know the theory, and we've talked about it before. I mean, our predictions within the beginning of the movie are going to be that the team gets together, they find out where Thanos is, they either go and kick his ass, and it does nothing at the end of the day in the big scheme of things, or maybe they even lose again and he gets away, and maybe we see a main character actually maybe even be killed or injured or taken out of the equation.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the conversation that they had on the Battle of Titan was when Thanos said Stark's name, and he said he was also cursed with knowledge. And people have been speculating about the whole, when he sent up the missile to kill the Chitauri. I think it also, if you think about time loops, that knowledge could have immediately come to Thanos within that moment. He said it not as in, like, it became a new memory to him, like, in that second, like, Stark. I feel like it would have been more of a conversation that we would have had during the battle, if he already previously had interactions with Tony Stark. Or, like, it's, because, I mean, if this is a time loop, say in the movie, you know, they go and they fight him, they either lose or they win, but nothing happens, and then somehow Thanos is still hanging around and he himself is thrown back in time, and maybe they lose again, and then he's jumped further back in time. So it's, I don't know. That's the part I'm fascinated with. I think Doctor Strange knows and kept something a secret, possibly sending it back to his old predecessor, and then something along the lines of Thanos knowing Stark's name and having knowledge of Stark. I think that comes through somewhere in this movie.
I like that. And also the other thing that it could be too, and it's something indirectly from Doctor Strange, is he could know that, hey, Thanos is going to use the stone, but we learned from Doctor Strange that if you're not a master of the mystic arts and you do use the time stone, you could put yourself in a time loop and there's no getting out of it. Well, as far as anybody knew at the time, there was no getting out of it. So he could have not done anything to the stone directly, but just known, like, hey, if he uses this is going to maybe even been like, yeah, we're going to have a bunch of our friends and people that are going to be wiped out, but this is going to reset itself at some particular point in time because he's going to use it and he's not a master of the mystic arts. So, I mean, he could have done that to himself without even knowing.
In fact, he's not a master of any of those stones. These are all new to him.
He's just a master asshole.
He's a master asshole. And that's the other confusing part to me, too. I mean, it's all very comic booky, too. But how did he actually know that if he would snap his fingers? Who told him that? So is there somebody else, like, you know, and like we've said before, they have to tee up the next phase.
Sure.
Is there somebody else?
And that could all be from like, you know, historical scriptures about the stones and how they were together at one point. Like, I think they ventured a little into that, of just like the backgrounds of when they were together, they were used as a weapon. Sure. And that's why Odin isn't he the one who acquired them and then dispersed them amongst the universe?
There's a thought there. I don't know if that's ever been proven. I haven't done that sort of research, but I've seen that same story, to where he found them too dangerous and dispersed them again. He obviously hid the Reality Stone, right, from the Dark Elves. He had the Tesseract, at least currently. Because he hid
Which was really Loki
originally
the Tesseract, because he
Yeah.
exiled his father.
Well, he originally in the original Captain America, he's the one that put it on Earth, because it was in the old Norse ruins where Red Skull found it.
Sure.
So at some point he did have the Tesseract. So yeah, I mean, I believe that story where he might have gathered a few of them in his own Power Quest, which is, by the way, an origin story that I would absolutely watch if they made that.
Me too.
Origin story, I'd totally see that. But yeah, again, where does the knowledge of the stones come from? So there's got to be other galactic beings. I think that's also what you're going to see, is that somebody must have told Thanos all he has to do is use his gauntlet to snap his fingers, and it actually worked. Like, what if it's backfired on him and something else had happened? That is not what I expected. But no, again, I don't think he has complete knowledge of what he's even doing with all the stones together, including the time stone to that effect. Like, yeah, he could have accidentally done something that set himself in a loop, and then he seeks out help from other people himself. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's just a huge asshole and just wants to destroy everything.
Yeah, that seems about right. So from the footage that we've gotten in trailers and promos and everything, we're still on the same page, where it's been reported that at least the footage that we've seen is probably within, if there's 3 acts in the movie, everything within the first act, right? So
yeah, I think you might have gotten a little leak of the second act, but I don't think you've seen the third act whatsoever.
But are we in agreement that things in this movie have to get worse again before they get better? Like, because there's so much movie, and if they're going to go in from the get-go and find him, obviously it doesn't turn out the way that they want it to be. So this movie's going to still be pretty dramatic, to where I think they're going to go in battle, something's going to happen, he's going to get away, or whatever the case may be. And then I think we're going to see even a further time jump, where maybe this was a few days after the snap, and then we're going to get a time jump, like, a few years later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so things are going to get worse, unfortunately, before they get better.
Yeah,
but
I think the third act is because, I mean, you see Ant-Man in the trailers looking confused at that pole, like he's just seeing it for the first time, and that pole and everything around him, everything looks overgrown. That pole is clearly just filled with missing posters. So I think there definitely is a big time jump after they've gone and tried to fight him again.
Okay, so we've done a little bit of Doctor Strange. What about the Hulk? That one is another one where obviously there's been some possible leaks. Nothing's 100% because quality on certain stuff is horrible, and I try to stay away from it all. But we're made to believe now that Professor Hulk is going to be coming into the equation. So anybody who doesn't know, that's going to be a healthy, bond between the Hulk and Bruce Banner, to where it's the Hulk's body, but it's very much Bruce Banner's mind. So you get to see him, hopefully, in his comic book glasses on, huge lab coat on. What do you think about that? And what'd you say?
So who makes those size of coats? The Big and Tall store? Men's Warehouse?
Yep, that's the only place. Big and Tall.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much guaranteed in the story arc of what the Hulk has been going through.
Now, what benefit, other than the obvious physical part of the Hulk being a huge help within a battle, what benefit in the beginning of the movie will that be for him to be both? I don't see him being a huge role or even needed until really they go back in time and they actually need somebody that physical. Like, I'm just trying to see, like, I think he's going to be a big part, like, verbally, but I don't think we're going to get any kind of physical anything really until the third act.
So there was that preview, I think it was specifically for Instagram, where you actually hear Banner talking, but it doesn't sound like Banner. And he gives some form of countdown, like it's like, this is starting in 3, 2, 1. and it's Banner, but it's not Banner, and they think that that's the actual voice of the Hulk. And if that is the case, yeah, he's clearly doing something smart and counting something down. I think you're gonna get. I don't think he's in the first act in the original battle with Thanos because he's not on the ship, the Benatar, when they're going out into space. Try to fight him. Either as Paul Rudd, that's why we thought that there's either losing moment or a realization that they can't do anything moment, and then they have to go back to Earth. Cap does the whole counseling thing for people that we've lost, but they're still not giving up. And then you get the time
and he must
jump.
be even further pissed off, already going and trying to get him back again and losing.
Can't do anything. Yeah, he's pissed. He's depressed about it. He's staring himself in the mirror, all solemn.
After a clean shave.
you gotta be clean shaven.
It just turns into a really cool Gillette commercial.
That's all it is. It's just all product placement.
It's like Wayne's World. It's like, I don't really do advertisements, but man, I got a headache, so take 2 of these.
It's a choice of a generation.
All in Pepsi.
No, so I think the biggest part you're going to get with Professor Hulk is that at some point, probably in the second act, as they're discovering things, I'm willing to bet, because I've heard the rumors where Thanos actually comes back and destroys Avengers HQ, and I think that's the second act battle. Because Ant-Man is there with War Machine, and they're putting on their helmets and they're ready to fight something. And I think probably during that scene, you're going to get a discussion between Hulk and Banner being like, I need your strength, but I need your smarts. I need to rewire the bomb, but I can't throw the bomb without the Hulk's strength. So something along those lines of there's going to be an inner struggle of Banner needing to do something but can't do it without the strength of the Hulk. And they're like, screw it, we'll just do it together. And then from then on, you're going to get the Professor Hulk.
I like it. And maybe the actual Avengers HQ being destroyed is some pretty strong symbolism for just the end of the Avengers.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I mean, that was their symbol. That was their lair, so to speak. So destroying it is kind of not only, you know, their headquarters, but also like, oh, well, this is no longer anything now. It's going to be brand new everything going forward.
There was that preview too where you get Thanos saying, you know, I'm going to destroy to, like, you know, smithereens this annoying little planet after I'm done with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated to see what happens in that first act because you see him more in pure battle gear. He's not using the stones.
You see him with his double-sided sword, which looks insane.
Exactly. Which would kill everybody. I mean, that thing looks intense. And it just doesn't want to show blood, but geez.
Brutal.
Super brutal. Yeah, so I think that there's a second battle. I think there's ultimately a third battle, but there's the two battles, the original fight with Thanos, which either goes exactly the way they wanted to, as in they kill and defeat Thanos, but they realize that they can't do anything with these stones. Or Thanos defeats them again, but they're able to maybe steal a few stones from him.
Are we going to see?
Battle.
Do you think we're going to see Children of Thanos again?
I think only if there's a time loop backwards, because he's going to need.
Those are big characters in the comic book, to where, you know, I could see them coming back if they're already doing time, going back in time. It wouldn't be a horrible idea to bring some of those characters back.
Man, but who's going to defeat Ebony Maw, the guy that just took on Doctor Strange? He's so powerful with those mystic arts.
Just get him in space, man. Pull the same trick. Watch Aliens and just blow them through into space. You know that really old movie, Aliens?
I got another pop culture reference from you.
Things that make us feel old now.
Because clearly, like, when they go out and defeat him, they find him by saying he uses the stones again somehow. I'm just
which is very curious to see why.
Because they clearly don't fly away. They're flying away from another planet. It's not Earth.
I think he's using the Soul Stone.
Well, in the previous, it looked like he used some sort of blue stone. Like he used the space stone to, like, bring something with him. But I mean, he can use multiple stones at once. Again, but that gauntlet is definitely not working properly. And so yeah, what capacity can he use the stones again, and to do what? Like, what is he doing using those stones to where they can go track him again?
And he is injured. I mean, he's not 100%. Like,
Right.
where we left him, I mean, he still did get stabbed in the chest, which I don't know if that healed up or what the deal is with that, but he definitely got pretty messed up with when he snapped. You could see like all the burnt parts of his arm and shoulder. I mean, it did mess him up a little bit. So he's not at full capacity either.
Oh.
Which is probably why in that first fight scene, if it goes the way that I think it might go, to where Captain Marvel goes in there and just whoops his ass.
I can see that too, because I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, it's why are they traveling back in time? And I don't think it's because once you get into like the whole alternate timelines and alternate universes, it just really muddies the water, as in like, what is the true timeline? How many offsets of different storylines you're gonna have? If they're looking to make one clean timeline, they shouldn't have to be able to do that.
Now, do you think we're going, back in time because we have the stones, but they're now their power is drained or just not where they need to be, and that's kind of why we need to go back in time and get the stones to like kind of recharge them? Or do you think that we are literally going back in time just to get the original stones and just collect our own before he even grabs them?
I wouldn't mind either one of those situations. Because you see your interactions of at least Tony and young Captain America together.
During the "Do You Trust Me" scene in the trailer.
Right, but what stone are they going after? So I mean, at what points in time? Because the whole like speech.
I think that would be the Mind Stone. And doesn't that look like? Would that?
Yeah,
I guess he was. Was he wearing his outfit from Winter Soldier though?
Who? Captain?
Yeah.
At least not in, and I think that's a misdirection when it comes to where they is. I think that's young Captain America in the original Attack on New York look.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it would be the Mind Stone in the scepter, in Loki's scepter.
Yeah, because the Tesseract is still gone.
Correct.
Where was it? No, because they used the Tesseract at the very end of the movie.
So the Tesseract
the Tesseract and the Mind Stone are both. Yeah, right. They're both in there.
And then they're both in there. That's right. Which is actually psycho.
And the Time Stone is in New York too at the Sanctum.
That's right.
So it really depends on because again, like they obviously split up, and they all have their own missions. That's what Cap's talking about. You know your mission. There's no turning back. Whatever it takes. You see.
God, I'm so pumped up.
You see, Black Widow and Hawkeye / Ronan. And Ronan's like, if this was any other situation, this would be really cool. I don't think it's them going to space. I think it's them going into their own quantum realm time loop. You see them smiling at one another while like sitting in the clearly like captain's chairs of some sort of ship. And so I'm interested to see where in time everybody goes. Because the Reality Stone is either with the Dark Elves or it's with the Collector. The Power Stone is still on Xandar.
Yep.
And the other three, the Soul Stone is still apparently with Red Skull. And what happens there? What sacrifices they have to give to even get the Soul Stone?
Yeah, somebody's still gonna have to be sacrificed and killed to get that stone. That's not gonna change. So no matter what, if that's gonna be kind of the last stone to be retrieved, what if that's climactic finish?
What if they are going to space, and that's where they're going, and Scarlett Johansson has to kill Hawkeye and tell him that they're going to bring his family back because they love each other so much?
Well, that's interesting, but it has been confirmed now that Hawkeye is going to be getting his own Disney Plus series, and this is going to be, I believe, post-Endgame, to where he's going to be training his replacement, Kate Bishop. Sure. So all those movies now are supposed to connect.
Kate Bishop being trained before the snap. This is what she was doing with the arrows.
That's Kate Bishop, because Kate Bishop should be technically older and in the comics an Asian character, to where I think that's just his daughter. I think that's going to be like one of the first opening scenes of the movie. I think we're going to see Clint Barton with his family,
or just a flashback. You could easily see that too.
and then he's
when she goes to find him as Rowan, he's just simply telling the story of how it happened and what has happened since then.
Exactly.
But somehow somebody, depending on where they go, and they're trying to get the Soul Stone, something's gonna have to be given up there, and that one wouldn't be shocking because I get the whole Disney streaming thing, but Black Widow's getting her own movie.
Yes, so Black Widow's getting her own movie, but I think that one is going to be a prequel because that's going to be diving into how she became an assassin in her life and childhood, growing up into that kind of really dark world.
Streaming service, because at what point, how is that going to benefit the next phase? Like, if they're trying to move this thing forward, I don't get how a prequel of Black Widow, who we've seen through pretty much the beginning since Iron Man 2, how that benefits what we have going forward. That's just a thought.
Sure. And maybe they do a little bit of both and move forward within a story and kind of do flashbacks and kind of show maybe different things that she learned, when she was actually being trained, or some kind of emotional problem she still has that she relates to kind of PTSD of something that she got done to her while she was being trained. Who knows? I mean, it can go in any direction.
But anyhow, part of those missions, I think you're probably going to see Rocket and War Machine maybe go to the Collector, since Rocket knows where Nowhere is.
Yeah, he's one of the few, right?
Because I've heard the big finale fight is actually on Xandar for the Power Stone.
Oh, really?
I've heard, quote unquote. But,
sorry, possible spoilers.
It would make sense if there's going to be 3 battles someplace, and say they have all the stones but the one. I've just heard there's been filming in that sort of realm. It would make semi-sense. I don't know, because
even some of the footage that you see, and I know we already said that maybe a majority it's the first act, maybe a scene or two out of the second, but I got to think that some of those really dark, fired up planets, like destroyed planets, can be Xandar. I mean, if the whole planet was supposed to be pretty much, or city was supposed to be destroyed, it makes sense that they're fighting in rubble.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be multiple scenes of rubble, right? There's going to be the first fight wherever they are. I mean, they don't even have to be on Titan 2. I mean, Thanos could have been using the Space Stone to jump someplace else, to do something else. You get the rubble of Avengers HQ, which seems like it's going to happen. Because, Ant-Man is there jumping off a pencil. Now, you're not going to find that in space anywhere.
Matt, if you throw another moon at me, I'm going to be real pissed off. There's got to be rubble. Can you imagine just a super clean fight? All right, guys. The only rule is no touching of the hair or the face.
Well, of course.
Of course. Everybody knows that. Don't worry, Mad Titan Thanos. Won't touch that horrible chin.
So again, so there's got to be a third fight someplace in there, and I mean it's gonna be sad, it's gonna be depressed, but this thing still has to wrap up in a way that it sets up the next kind of phase. So I mean, God, this thing has just so much to do in 3 hours, 3 hours and 58 seconds.
Yeah, so we'll kind of jump ahead now, and we'll kind of just finish it off. So what do you think? The last bit of the movie is gonna do? Who do you think out of the people that were dusted? Who do you think is coming back? We know Spider-Man's coming back. We know Director Fury's coming back. He's in the new Spider-Man movie. So we know a couple of those characters are coming back. But do we think that everybody that was dusted within the main characters are coming back? Do we think any of the people that were killed prior to the snap, like Loki, or any of those guys that were on Thor's ship, any of those guys coming back, or the people that were killed?
Well, you've already seen. I mean, the previous Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie, is in it.
So she escaped because they said that Thanos only killed half.
They only killed half of their Instagram trailer. They actually show her. And she's not in. She almost looks like she's in Earth garb. But when they left the ship, she still fulfilled the mission and took all the rest of the people to Earth. She's still she's there. Maybe in that time jump. But I don't know. It depends on how far in time they go back. Say if they do go back and the prediction of the final battle's on Xandar for the Power Stone, that's previous to Loki getting killed. That's previous to Gamora getting killed. But I don't know because I don't know if they're able. I honestly don't know.
All right. Well, obviously, there's a lot more to discuss and go over within this trailer. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving your input. And I know we could talk about it all day, every day. And we will be getting back on this podcast sometime next week to go over a non-spoiler review and then also a spoiler review of Avengers Endgame. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to us. We very much appreciate it. And enjoy Avengers Endgame. Thank you for listening. This is WTF, What's the Focus podcast.
Hi folks, Dirk Bentley here. Being on the go is a big part of my life. I love seeing new places, meeting new people, and performing all over the world. For energy on the go, for me, it's 5-Hour Energy. It works fast, works long, and it tastes good. With 0 sugar and 4 calories. Try it. It could work for your on-the-go life too. 5-Hour Energy. Energy on the go.
Get 5-Hour Energy at your local Speedway.
With Dunkin' Go-Tos, you can get a great deal on 2 of your favorites, like 2 egg and cheese wraps for $2, 2 bagels with cream cheese spread for $4, and 2 bacon, egg, and cheese croissants for $5. In my opinion, it's a deal that's pretty tough to beat. That's just if you want my go-to cents. If you don't want my go-to cents, it's go too late. Dunkin' Go-Tos. A great deal for $2, $4, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.